The headquarters of the Russian 80th Arctic Motor Rifle Brigade was struck by Ukraine. This was the second of two specialized Arctic brigades under Northern Fleet Command. The first being the 200th Motor Rifle Brigade, which was mauled by the Ukrainian 93rd Brigade last year. And the funny thing is that they have literally given away their location from a video showing off gifts from the Murmansk governor. Classic Russians.
Спасибо большое губернатору Мурманской области, также главе администрации и всей Мурманской области за поддержку нашему полку 1486, за все вот это, то, что вы для нас сделали. Спасибо вам, мы чувствуем от вас поддержку. Победа будет за нами, скоро будем дома. Спасибо вам.
In May, Russia dispatched at least one battalion tactical group of the 80th Separate Arctic Motor Rifle Brigade to Ukraine. This is evidenced by satellite images released by the Finnish publication YL. The satellite images taken on May 13th and 24 show that approximately 100 pieces of equipment, specifically tanks, MTLB tractors, and Gvozdika self-propelled guns, have left the unit. Finnish military analysts interviewed by the publication estimate that the Russians withdrew 3 companies from the base. The media assume that prior to being sent to Ukraine, the battalion tactical groups of the 80th Brigade underwent coordination. To a limited extent, the brigade has been participating in the war against Ukraine ever since spring. Local publications reported on the funerals of reconnaissance officers who died in Ukraine. It is worth noting that the base of the brigade, the town of Alakurti, Murmansk region, is less than 30 miles from Finland's border. Despite the accelerated accession of the country to NATO, Russia is not afraid to make bare its borders with the bloc, against the expansion of which it seems to be fighting in Ukraine. The 80th Separate Arctic Motor Rifle Brigade is subordinate to the coastal troops of the Russian Navy. Unlike most Russian brigades, it has a limited number of approximately 2,000 servicemen. The brigade is not armed with tanks. Instead, its fleet consists of specific Arctic equipment. In particular, DT-10 and DT-30 Vityaz all-terrain articulated tracked carriers, and TTM 4902 Ruslan all-terrain tracked carriers. This equipment was already destroyed by the armed forces of Ukraine in the Kharkiv direction as early as March 2022. Ukrainian M2A2, Bradley firing at Russian positions using the night vision mode, was feared by Russian troops, and they have all reason to. Footage from the Zaporizhia front. British Challenger 2 tanks are already at the front and helping to liberate Ukraine. Ukrainian troops lightening up more Russian defense lines by using mine-clearing charges. Could be M58 Miklik or UR-77. This area in particular had scorch marks before the latest charge went off, probably somewhere in the south. The occupiers in the Zaporizhia region burned their own truck with personnel because they thought that disguised Ukrainian saboteurs were traveling in it. Almost 2 years in, and more than 2,000 destroyed tanks later, Peskov seems to have realized that NATO countries are getting more and more involved in the conflict. I'm not even talking about his ridiculous claim about the demilitarization of Ukraine, as if there's anything else Russia can do about it apart from resorting to major terraforming events and shelling civilian areas.
Действительно, Украина была сильно милитаризована на момент начала специальной военной операции. И, как вчера сказал Путин, одной из задач была демилитаризация Украины. Фактически эта задача во многом выполнена, потому что все меньше и меньше своего оружия Украина использует, и все больше и больше она использует системы вооружений, которые ей поставляют страны Запада. Что это означает? Что страны Запада, а именно Североатлантического альянса, под руководством того же Вашингтона, все больше прямо и косвенно влезают в этот конфликт. Они вмешиваются в этот конфликт и становятся стороной конфликта. Конечно же, это приводит к тому, что конфликт затягивается по времени. Это приводит к тому, что ситуация в Европе становится более напряженной, непредсказуемой. И, конечно, это обязывает Россию к тому, чтобы применять более решительные меры для обеспечения безопасности тех же людей на Донбассе и безопасности Российской Федерации.
But when we are talking about Peskov, one of the first families of alleged Russian corruption and hypocrisy is that of Dmitry Peskov, Vladimir Putin's deputy chief of staff and chief spokesman, a role that makes him Putin's loudest megaphone, one who on a near-daily basis dispenses the Russian president's hardline vitriol against the West. The United States recently sanctioned Peskov, his wife and 2 adult children, from 2 previous marriages, stating that the family lives luxurious lifestyles that are incongruous with Peskov's civil servant salary and are likely built on the ill-gotten wealth of Peskov's connections to Putin. At least 2 of his children were largely raised in Western Europe before returning to Moscow as adults. While the U.S. Treasury didn't spell out the questionable excesses, Peskov, who's held his role for nearly a decade and reportedly made $173,000 in 2020, has been seen wearing a $600,000 designer watch and went on a honeymoon that included a roughly $430,000 a week yacht off the coast of Sardinia, according to an investigation by the Anti-Corruption Foundation founded by jailed Russian opposition leader Alexei Navalny. Based on property records, social media posts, and traffic violation databases, the Anti-Corruption Foundation also revealed Peskov's wife, ex-wife, and children own luxury vehicles and multi-million-dollar homes all over the world, including Russia and France. A display of riches in stark contrast with the nearly 20 million Russians living in poverty. The staggering yet seemingly inexplicable wealth of such families in Putin's world, experts say, boils down to a single concept: kleptocracy. And the irony now is that the same Peskov is talking about corrupt West and the breakdown of Western morale. But sometimes we are using big words to explain usual events, like kleptocracy or corruption. But the truth is that this people are just thieves and liars.
Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe. Also, if you want to support Warthog Defense, please become our member and get early access to new videos, exclusive members-only videos, and become administrator in comment section. The membership link is in the description.
Rescues every day. We had a guy last week at 6 rescues in 6 days. You know, he's doing the job every day.